Hello and welcome to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thanks for joining me. Today, a very musical show for you. We'll host duo Russo and Weinberg in our music studio. We'll hear about the trend of making music with old video game consoles and listen to champeta folk music. Russo and Weinberg are an Israeli duo. They've been performing and making music together for almost 5 years now. And finally, they're releasing their debut album, Stay, which is available on Bandcamp. I'm very happy to have Erez Russo and Adi Weinberg with me in the studio. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for letting us come in.
So I guess my first most important question is, what took you so long?
Many things. Among them, everyday life.
Yeah, that's rough. I know
perfectionism. It didn't happen. It's just evolution of the music. It takes time sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you two meet? How did you begin working together?
Well, we actually we met totally by chance. I was having a drink in a bar, and I was sitting there drinking my mojito. And suddenly I heard this lovely voice singing a song. And I turned over, and it was just, a young waitress on her way with the drinks for the customers.
With a different mojito to a different customer.
Yeah, and I don't know, I guess.
Just singing a song to yourself, or was it like one of those places where the
waitress singing waitress? No, she was just singing a song.
I always sing. I don't know. People tell me that.
Like kids, Kids
sing. Going around and sing.
But you were making music. You had a musical career on the back burner.
I was in silence. I didn't do anything. I really wanted to, but I didn't. And then after like 10 years, we met again, and I told him listen, I got to do it. I really love singing. How do I do it? How do I do music?
Right, and Erez, we should say, the more experienced musician.
I've been a musician for a very long time with the Jaffa Port band.
Yeah.
Guitarist and a producer. And you can go and tell the rest of the story.
It's true, after like 10 years, even more than a decade, I think, we met again in another bar, just a different bar.
I see a pattern here. Okay.
Yeah, we like to
Maybe
drink.
that's also why it took so long to work on the album.
Yeah,
there might be a connection.
Could be. So she told me that she really wanted to make music and that she didn't know how to approach it, and I told her, look, let's see what you got and show me something. I want to hear what you do. And she did. She showed me a song that she did, and she photographed herself. She filmed herself singing
Wow.
and playing, and I really liked it. I really liked it, and I told her, okay, let's go to my studio and start working. And
that's great.
That's what happened.
Yeah. A lot of your songs are about relationships, about love. Most kind of melancholic, I have to say, not the happiest songs.
The dark side of love.
Yeah. What happens when you find yourself in a happy relationship and everything is
that's
peachy?
the problem. Now that everything is good, and we don't write any songs, so we're waiting for the for the worst to
come and
then
give
we write more
inspiration.
Okay.
Not really.
No, I know. Now, you did a crowdfunding campaign as part of the effort to get this album out there, which is kind of popular these days. How was the experience for you?
It was amazing at the beginning. It was very hard for us to go on this thing and do it, to ask money from people, but then we realized that it's not like we're asking for money, it's people buying the album like pre-sale.
Ahead of time.
Ahead of time. So we were okay with it, and then we had really fun because a lot of people bought the album.
Yeah. How did that happen? Because you're not, okay, Erez is a little more established, a little more known, but it's your first album, so it's not like you had such a...
But we've been a while. We've been there.
One of the good things about the fact that we didn't take the album out like right away after we put out our first single was that we gave time for a lot of people to know us.
Right.
Because we went on a tour, we traveled the whole country, we performed. Once we got to that point where we were asking people to buy our album pre-sale, many people already knew us.
Heard some of the songs, right.
And one of our songs was on a lingerie campaign, you know that.
Yeah. Always helps sales, for some reason. I think it's now time to let us and our viewers hear you out as well. So what are you going to play for us?
We're going to play a song called All This Love. That was actually our first single that came out, the one that was played
the one with the lingerie.
The lingerie, yeah.
I can't promise we'll have it here as well. But.
And it's a really important song for us because it did actually, lead the way for us to
from the studio to the outside world.
Great. So once again, thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Here they are, Russo and Weinberg. Enjoy.
You'll fake it. Don't hide the tears, 'cause I know you're breaking. All this love and all this pain you've given. All this love and all this pain, you bring them from another world.
Another tear just burst from the side of your eye, and I know what you're saying, and I know it's a fucking lie. All these words, damn lies. All this pain in those fine eyes. All this love and all this pain you've given. All this love and all this pain, you bring them from another world.
The summer lies on my doorstep, and outside there's a light, and it's getting bigger, and you know it. All this love, dim lies, all this pain in those fine eyes. All this love and all this pain you've given. All this love and all this pain, you bring them from another world. All this love and all this pain you've given. All this love and all this pain, you bring them from another world.
Now, if you have an old Game Boy, now's the time to take it out of storage. But this time it's not to play Super Mario Brothers or Tetris, but for a completely different reason, to make music. More than a musical genre, it's a passion for a whole community of musicians. So hold on to your controllers while David Gombin takes us on a sound journey with the chiptune.
Let's travel back in time to the 1980s, to the time of the Atari, the Amiga computers, and Game Boy. This was long before HD, cell phone apps, and tablets. Yet if these enthusiasts have decided to bring out these antiquities from their attics, it is not by pure coincidence. Quite the contrary. With these consoles, they make fresh music.
Chip music is music that is composed on old computer hardware or retro consoles. So those would be like consoles that you might have played back in the day, like the Atari systems, the Commodores, or Game Boys, like I use. And you can use what's known as a tracker program to basically hack into the sound chip within these consoles and use it as if it was a synthesizer.
Using a game console to create music is not a new idea, but lately it has become a mainstream phenomenon available to everyone.
To get the software and the Game Boy, so easy. You just go onto eBay, you can find a Game Boy, someone's unwanted old Nintendo Game Boy, and I'm talking the big brick, the original one.
There were rumors of a Tetris movie last year, but it didn't happen. But Pixels will be in theaters this summer, honoring the trend of the geek culture without forgetting the 80s music side to it. Saber Pulse, a British artist considered one of the pioneers of chiptune during the last decade, has closely witnessed the rise of this music.
I've been doing it for about 10 years, and I've seen it go from such a small niche sort of thing to big bands using these sounds.
My glasses, I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit this city. Before I leave, brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack.
And in the charts, you can hear quite a lot of influences from the arpeggiators and the styles that you can make with the Game Boy or Ataris or Amigas. You start to see like big musicians and pop musicians using these things and sort of integrating them into their music as well.
The chiptune, also known as chip music or even 8-bit music, is the subject of growing interest. Documentaries, concerts, what fascinates the most is the diversity of the phenomenon.
One of the great things about chip music is it's a way of creating music. It's not a genre. It's not like house music or drum and bass or folk music. It's all of those things in one. You can make different types of chiptune music using different instruments, or if you put your mind to it, you can make anything with it. And I think that's one of the big appeals of it.
So if you have the soul of a musician and your old Game Boy is still functioning, then it is time for you to start. And with a little luck, you may become the success story of tomorrow.
Very cool. Now Daniel Campos is already in the studio to take us... Where are you going to take us today?
We're going to go to the Caribbean side of Colombia.
Ah, sounds lovely. I'm already there.
We're going to actually have a look at a very interesting culture, which has been, actually we can say it's been peaking since the 70s, 80s, and today we call it champeta. And, you know, like let's say vinyl is having a comeback, you know, in Europe and in America. And vinyl was always popular, has always been popular in the Caribbean of Colombia.
You mean champeta?
Champeta, yeah. And especially, you know, we're talking about vinyl records from Africa, from Kenya, from the Democratic Republic of Congo, formerly known as Zaire, from Senegal. They collect records from Africa. That's their thing since the 1970s. The word champeta is pretty much, it's the meaning of a sword. It was a curb. Okay. And it was, we can say, a word the people in Cartagena would use to name people from Afro-Colombian descent. There would be sort of like a racist word, champetudo. That was the way to referring. And these people created their own culture, and today we know that as champeta. And it's distinguished by, maybe we can see these huge speakers, this sound system they use.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Los Picos. Let's have a look at one of the videos to see how they're made.
All right.
A uno le gustaba bastante el sonido. El éxito de antes no era tanto la potencia, sino era esparcer el sonido. Ya. Esto lo llamamos nosotros las columnas. Y el sonido va esparciendo, y va regando. Si usted quiere llegar de aquí a 2 cuadras, ya sabe que tiene que tener más o menos unas 15 columnas, como en la época de antes.
A lot of color, a lot of sound, it seems like.
Indeed, they turned their own sound system, Los Picos, into a wall of sound. Very interestingly, instead of buying it from the store, they made it themselves, and they put colors, turning it into a totem, like a totem pole. Maybe we can have a look at what a champeta party looks like.
Let's see. Yeah, so they definitely like it loud, but it sounds like fun.
Indeed, very loud.
Thanks so much, Daniel.
Thank you.
That's it from us with this musical show. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow with another one, so please join us again.